3 minutes, unless otherwise extended by the board. Please begin your comment by saying your name and providing your city of residence. For those that wish to provide public comment while viewing the meeting online, you may call 559-366-1849. Please note that there will be approximately a 20-second delay in broadcast for viewers. When calling in, mute the device used for viewing the meeting. Any public comments? Seeing or hearing none, we'll move on. Communications that be submitted to the city manager's office 10 days prior to a board meeting to be considered for this section of the agenda. No action will be taken on matters listed under communications. However, the board may direct staff to schedule issues raised during communications for a future agenda. Mr. City Manager?
No communications.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to consent calendar. All matters listed in the consent calendar are considered by the board to be routine and will be enacted in one motion without discussion. If discussion is desired, that item may be removed and considered separately. We have one item to consider. Anyone wishing to pull that for discussion? Questions? Seeing or hearing none, I'll look for a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to general business. Comments related to general business items are limited to 3 minutes per speaker for a maximum of 30 minutes per item, unless otherwise extended by the board. For those that wish to provide public comment while viewing the meeting online, you may call 559-366-1849. Please note that there will be approximately a 20-second delay in broadcast for viewers. When calling in, mute the device used for viewing the meeting. And we have 4 items to discuss today. It looks like the first one, Mr. Doyle, are you on point, sir?
I don't think your mic's, do you have your mic on? And now it's on, it's red. Yeah.
All right, here we go. We'll start again. I know, first time. Good afternoon, members of the board. Tim Doyle, Assistant Public Works Director. The first item we have for you today is the purchase of water meters and registers. Back in 2006, 2007, 2008, we went fully metered as a city. During that time, we found some issues with the batteries started going bad. So in 2016, we decided to upgrade to a better system from AMR, which was creating some walking routes to the AMI, which reports straight to finance through radio. We're pretty much 60% done with this project, but we've run out of our contract. In 2016, the board approved us entering into a contract with HD Supply, who was the vendor of the master meter, which was the meter of choice that we found that was better and worked best for our system. So that contract expired in December. So we're in the process of negotiating a new contract with them because this system is proprietary to our building system, and we're kind of married to them, for the lack of a better term. We're about 65% changed over. We're since 2016, we've been changing about 2,000 meters a year, and we're down to, we have about 20,000 meters, and we need to start getting that caught up to get a complete change out to the AMI system. So we found that these meters are very accurate, and it was easier for us just to change the register. So for the meters that are not accurate, we'll change the whole meter. So that's where we need a bulk of 504. They come on a pallet, and then we're going to go and just change registers at a savings. So today we're award the purchase of 800 master meter illegal registers and 500 1-inch master meter 4G meters from HydroPro Solutions. Another thing that needs to be noted is master meter is no longer associated with HD Supplies as their distributor. So HydroPro Solutions is now the only authorized distributor of master meter products. And that's who we're working on a contract with, and we'll be bringing that to the board as soon as we get that finalized. But they've given me a contract price for this purchase, so we can continue moving forward with getting our meters changed out to where they're all the same and get rid of the walking routes.
So this has been what, like a 8-year project so far, roughly?
Yes.
I'm thinking.
Right, it was an 8-year contract, and we've been changing it out about 2,000 meters a year. We're about 65% changed, and we still probably have another 3 to 4 years to try and get through this.
I was just wondering, with all the new construction, when new construction goes in, do you use one of those meters?
The contractors are part of the city standard is our this meter. It's a 4G master meter, 4G Allegro. They have to put those
So
in.
the contractor themselves, they
contractor-
don't use ours, do they?
No, our meters are solely for our purpose.
Okay,
Even if there's a shortage, we do not sell our meters to a contractor. If a contractor pays for a permit for a meter and service installation, then that comes with it.
they
as far as
provide
the-
it, okay.
We provide it when we install the service. City does, because city is paid to put in the water service and the meter and box come with that. Contractors, that's a separate thing. They have to purchase from HydroPro Solutions, and they install all those meters. We do not sell them or have anything to do with them.
Okay, so, but they install what we approve, right?
That is correct. We are, with a lot of our products, everything is standardized. So they have a list of all the meters and the serial numbers that they have, because these come with a frequency that's just proprietary to Tulare.
Okay,
So they have to install that meter.
so everything we replaced is basically what we had at the time out there, right? That needed to be replaced.
Right.
Okay.
Right. The other ones were a drive-by. Our original system was a drive-by. So they went by with a truck
Right,
and it transmitted into, well, they have a battery, and that battery, because we installed like 30,000 meters and they started failing all at the same time because they were all installed at the same time. So now we transition from the AMR to the AMI system, which goes to a radio base station, which then goes to finance. So the ones that were originally put in 2006 and 2007 and 2008 became walking routes, and we were out reading 20,000, or I don't know what the exact amount of, but we're walking a majority of the meters.
and how many would you say still need to be replaced, did you say?
I don't have an exact amount. 6,500.
5,500? 65?
Sorry.
And this will give us how many more?
This,
800 plus 5,
1,300, something like that, 13.
1,500,
yes,
okay. So
Let's
it's
get
gonna be,
this
it's gonna be
aside.
a continuing thing then.
it's a continuing thing, and unfortunately with these, they have a 10-year warranty at 100% coverage. So anything that goes wrong with these meters, we turn them in, and it's 100% replacement. Then after 15 years, I mean, it's prorated. So we're trying to make sure that we stay on a rotation to where these meters are changed out every 10 to 15 years. So it's gonna be an ongoing thing. So the ones that were put in 2006, 10 years later, we're at that point.
I'm just curious, did this save in labor as far as,
This process of going from meter change out to register change out will save immensely in labor.
that's what I was wondering.
And then it obviously will save in labor from the meter readers having to go from site to site to site and hand read.
I would imagine it also save on transportation as far as,
It's gonna save on
Vehicles.
fuel, it's gonna save on vehicle expense, and the new AMIs are very, very good for customer service also, because they track gallons. You can pull up the information and it'll tell you when they were watering, how much water went through the meter. And then we can relay that information to the customer when they question the amount of water that they've used or that went through there. So we can print it out and we can literally give it to them. This is when you use water at this time, and this is how long it ran. So it's very good. for customer complaints. And it's very good for conservation also. It helps people who conserve water. You can let them know how many gallons they're using during their irrigation times, which surprises a lot of people.
All right. Always surprises me how sometimes I'll get 1 month and then the next month it's exactly the same amount from the previous month.
We're creatures of habit.
You're very regular.
In fact, the last one I got, my wife kind of got up and goes, "Hey, you were short a penny. They just said you're late, you're late." I said, "Oh, shoot."
Yeah, out of all the meters that are out there, water meters are always supposedly inaccurate.
I got a
They're
question.
not.
Anyone else have any questions or concerns?
I do. What, you may, if I understood correct, you said this company's the only approved dealer.
Right. So master meter.
How does that stack up? That doesn't sound very good when they're the only approved person we could go to.
That's
So they can name the price. What if they go out of business? What if they just give us a price and we have no choice?
well, that's what we're negotiating now, and that's what we did, back in 2016. We want to try and get a set price so we can budget and, anticipate anything that happens. The market changes all the time.
Right, but my question is, who else has access to these meters? Or it's their priority meter? What is,
It's HydroPros is the distributor. The
right,
meter is built in Texas. So the meter comes from Texas. HydroPro Solutions is the distributor throughout California. HD Supply was, and then the master meter pulled their contract from them, and then they started HydroPro Solutions. which
right, so they're the only
ironically-
vendor.
Yes, and
We
they
have
are,
no choice.
we have no
Right.
choice.
That's what
It's
I'm
a-
getting at.
It's
Are
a
there
sole
other-
source.
Are there other vendors that maybe aren't in the area
Well,
that you could get it
if,
from?
let's say, for instance, we talked about contractors. Contractors might have an account with Ferguson Supply or Fresno Pipe or something. Those distributors have to buy from HydroPros. And so whoever the contractor has an account with, they have access to these meters through HydroPro Solutions. So it's kind of proprietary. All meters are proprietary. So that's a lot of things have just one distributor here in California.
Sound like a monopoly.
No, I just wanted to know, like, that's how I took it, but I just wanted to hear it. Didn't like it, but
Well, that's why we want to be in a contract so they can't change the prices. It locks us into a price. It gives us a guaranteed price, and then we can work on guaranteed quantities.
Renee?
Tim, I don't know if this would be a Trish question or a Tim question. What's budgeted each year for this? It looks like around 500,000.
Yes, we budget annually 560,000 for meter replacement.
Okay, and how many total meters are there? Total?
We're edging towards 23,000.
23,000 total, okay. All right. And then I just have one other question. What is the difference? You maybe said already, but I'm not
That's okay.
understanding the concept because these meters are intriguing, but it says a 504 4G meter and an 800 master meter.
Okay,
What's the
it's,
difference?
those are quantities. So we have 800 master meter Allegro registered kits. So
Okay.
with that, all we have to do is take the register off, and it's a kit that it'll put right back on to there. That saves us from having to remove the meter, shut the water off. It's just really convenient. It's just a matter of pins putting on and off. Where the other is you have to shut the water off, you have to notify. Then we have to physically remove the whole meter and then try and squeeze the new meter in there.
Is it less expensive?
Much less.
Okay,
So it's less expensive as far as labor and less expensive as far as materials. So depending on the other contract that we had originally that was negotiated in 2016, they would only sell us the meter and register as a piece. So they wouldn't sell us the registers by themselves. This one, because of convenience and obviously price, we were trying to negotiate to where we can buy solely registers as well as complete meters.
okay.
So some installations, we have to replace the meter. We do a flow test on them for accuracy, and we found that the body stays very accurate. The issue is usually in the register itself.
Okay. Super helpful. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or comments? It sounds like if we don't go forward with this, we're kind of take a step backwards. Going back to, like you said, walking the meters again.
Well, you just continue with a walking route that could expand. If we're still always open to looking at other products that are out there. This meter currently is the least expensive of the meters available. It works very well with our finance and billing software. So they're kind of two pieces that fit together. And the other meters, I mean, it's just, meters are one of those things, there's about 5 or 6 different brands out there. The city over time has tried them all. This
Okay.
meter was the best meter for the money.
I got one more question. If and when we ever change to a different meter, would we have to replace all the meters and can we run 2 meter systems at the same time?
That, they claim they can, but I've yet to see that.
Okay,
So, because I am also talking, and to keep Master Meter honest and just for our own good, is I'm open to discussion from other meter companies all the time. And one of my questions is just that, can we run both these meters if we were to ever have to change due to whatever reason? Like you mentioned earlier, they just closed, folded for some reason. So we're always keeping our door open for their options and listening.
all right.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing no more questions or concerns, I'll entertain a motion to accept general business item number 6.1.
I'll make a motion to approve item 6.1
I'll
for the
second.
meters.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
I got one more.
Oh, you're up again. Okay. So what are you still doing up there?
Yeah, you have to go back to your seat.
Let me, okay,
Yeah. Okay, moving on to general business item 6.2. Looks like Mr. Doyle, you're on again. I'm darn.
I brought it.
Gotta make it official, you know.
good afternoon, board. Tim Doyle, Assistant Public Works Director for the city of Tulare. Item number 2, the emergency repairs for water well number 35, rehabilitation project. And this is the first change order on that. And on the March 6th meeting, you approved contract with Valley Pump and Dairy System to do the emergency repairs and rehabilitation on well 35. During the pulling of the equipment out, we noticed, and I included some pictures because I know Renee loves pictures, and you kind of see the condition of the pipe is failing. It's 20-some-year-old pipe. We had a similar situation, if you remember last year or the year before, at well 26, where we had to change the same amount of 460 feet of column, tube, and shaft. The pipe that we're recommending and what we've been using as a standard pipe for all the new wells has a coating that's NSF 61, which means food grade basically. It's a coat on the tubing, the column, inside and out, and basically rust free. So they come out as well as they went in. It's a good investment for whatever reason. This is a little bit cheaper than what we paid back on well 26, which is always a good thing. I don't see anything else that we can do as far as that pipe. It's causing some of the efficiency problems, I think, and it's just, you got holes in it and everything else. On the good side is the well doesn't appear from the first video to have any breaks, which was what we were anticipating, 1 or 2 breaks. It does have a bend at 390 feet, and then it has another bend at 500, which could have been from the original drilling, could be something to do with the ground. It's hard to say, but we're going to clean the well and scrub it like we had already proposed to do, and then re-video looking for cracks. that would be great if we didn't see anything like that. So the biggest problem at this point seems to be the column tube and shaft. So today I'm bringing to you to award and authorize city manager to sign a contract for a change order in the amount of $115,000 to replace 460 feet of column tube and shaft for well 35.
When was this dug? Do you remember? I mean, do you have any history of? when-
Yes, it's on here. It's
Oh, I missed it. I looked for it.
let's see, the well was drilled in 2004 to 780 feet. It's right on the corner of Moody and Barsley, back behind the church area there.
Okay, there it is. Okay.
It has the TCP treatment there, so we do have a
Got it.
lot of investment there. This pipe should last hopefully the life of the well. I mean, we're probably bowls will definitely wear out over time, but at least we won't have to replace this pipe. It's what we're seeing so far. We're using this material in all of our new wells because it lasts longer. It's easier to keep sanitized. It's a win.
Any other questions or concerns? Okay, well, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept. General business item 6.2 as presented.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and support for item number 6.2 general business. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion passes. Thank you. It's moving on to 6.3 general business item. Is Mr. Doyle in the room? Oh, yeah, there you go.
I don't see him.
Good afternoon, board. Well, after this one, I'll introduce our project manager. He's one of Michael's guys. He's really good. He's gonna have fun with this. This item is for construction support for the replacement of well 1, which is going to be called well 50. I just got the approval from the state today with a station code number there. So on December 7th, the board approved a contract with Carollo Engineers to design the well 50, which is a replacement for well 1. It's located in the C&D alley north of San Joaquin. The design is basically 100% done. We're just going through it and reviewing and looking for anything that we might see that is an issue that needs to be addressed. Currently, we went out to bid and are getting ready to award the drilling. These wells, building these wells is kind of a 3-phase effect. We try and drill the well first as we're designing. It's kind of, we get that parse done. Then we go into a design contract, which we did with Carollo. And then the final step is the actual construction. So this is for the construction support from the design. So if we have an issue with design, they review submittals, they help with any type of meetings. They become an instrumental part of building the well sites. Always good to keep the design engineer on board. So this portion is for all of that. This job's gonna be, it's gonna be a good job. It's gonna be a nice well. That well 1 was a good producer of volume wise and quality wise, which is what we're after. The site is large enough to where we can move 50 feet to put the new well in. We're gonna have some logistics trying to get through an alley. But I think with the design we have will work, and with their support, this will be another successful well process. So today, I'm here to ask for you to award and authorize city manager to sign an amendment to the contract we already have with Carollo Engineers for construction support in the amount of $120,056. $120,056.
So this support was not originally in the contract?
No, well, yes, it can be, but in this particular one, it was not.
Okay.
We kind of tried to fast forward this thing. So we try to get with our hydrogeologist and Carollo to get the design of the well, so we get that out to bid. We need water over there desperately. And then, so as they were building and designing the site, Then we go to the third phase, which is constructing the site, and they did not originally include that in their bid. So this is an additional. So this is basically an addendum to the original contract for that extra surface.
Any other questions?
Just another question about, because it's number one, does that mean it's the first well ever drilled in Tulare?
Yeah, I've always wondered that same question myself. No,
Curious.
because the wells that were at where the water tower is were actually older in
Okay.
years. And one was 10 and one was 8. And this
Oh,
one is
weird.
over, maybe it's the first well that was on the west side. I don't know.
Okay,
But
curious.
the state, they give them station code numbers. So that's what I had to
Oh.
apply this week. And went out and got the new stagecoach or station code.
okay.
So it's funny. That's a good question. I've always asked that same one.
So when the original, since we don't have the paperwork, or I don't recall, when this was awarded, the project, did everybody not include the support?
I would assume yes. But I couldn't tell you for sure.
Anyone else? Questions? Comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept general business item 6.3 as presented.
Motion to approve?
Second,
We have motion and support for general business item 6.3. Called for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Doyle.
Thank you very much.
I think you're done.
Well, I'm here to help us too.
All right, moving on to general business item 6.4. Mr. Simienti, am I saying that right?
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon. My name is Dylan
Good
Schmidt
afternoon.
with Project Management. So this staff report is regarding the approval of contracts related to Project WT 0056, which Tim mentioned is the replacement well for well 1. We're going to drill well 50 and labor compliance services associated with it. A little background, well 1 was originally drilled in 1950. It went through updates in 2014 and then eventually was non-repairable in 2021 due to casing failure and pumping sand. In December 7th, 2023, we awarded, or you guys awarded, a contract with Krill Engineers to design well 1, or excuse me, design for the replacement of well 1, which is now well 50. We've completed the design and we had a bid opening on March 20th, where we had 3 bids ranging from $589,300 to $702,270. The contractors were Anthony Pareto, Zim Industries, and South Valley Companies, with the lowest responsive bid being South Valley Companies at $589,300. And then this is a prevailing wage project, so we have to have labor compliance. I reached out to Labor Consultants of California for proposal, and they provided a proposal for $6,375. So I'm asking for the board to approve these 2 contracts.
Okay. Any questions or concerns regarding the general business 6.4? This is basically just to complete what's been
Yeah, the
Start.
design's done. Now we're gonna start drilling it. Once
start drilling and
Yeah, so this project, it's a 60-day project to
okay.
drill. Once it's drilled, then we go to equip the well. So we'll be back again
so
for
it's
the
just
equipping portion.
a continuing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know it's not a large figure, but what is, so labor compliance, basically you just have someone on site that makes sure you're
So if
doing
they're not on
everything?
site, they, prevailing wage, we have to follow state requirements regarding certified payroll and fringe benefits, making sure everybody's getting paid per city standard, or not city standard, California standard.
Okay, and
And
that's what their
the
job is?
Auditor, yes,
Got it.
exactly.
Okay,
They do come on site though and interview the employees to make
do.
sure what the company is paying them is what the employees are getting. You know, they audit the payrolls, but they also talk to the employees to verify like,
Conduct
okay,
interviews.
you know, they're saying these things. Is this true? So.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if a contractor does not pay prevailing wage and we don't catch it, an employee can come back and file like a suit and the city could be held liable. So it's definitely worth our benefit to pay the 3,700, have it audited throughout the project, make sure the contractor is paying the correct amount to prevent an employee coming back, you know, a year or two later saying, hey, that was a prevailing wage project and my employer didn't pay me prevailing wage.
Okay.
So you'll see it on pretty much all of our contracts. We used to be exempt as a charter city. The state changed that probably 5 to 8 years ago, Michael.
Okay.
And charter
Wow.
cities were no longer exempt. So all of our big projects are held to prevailing wage.
Thank you.
And California is typically higher than the federal wage rate. So
Have we done business before with South Valley companies?
I don't think so.
I don't recall seeing the name. I'm just curious.
No, we have not. We have not.
Okay. Are they local?
Normally, it's always really close between Zim and Pareto. Pareto has drilled probably the last 3 wells for us. But I don't know what he did with this one.
They're from Bakersfield?
So they're out of Bakersfield. They have bid some of our stuff, I believe, in the past. They've just
So
been
they're not-
very, very high.
They're not new exactly.
No.
They're not new to the business, no,
Okay.
but they are new to us.
Okay, I didn't think I'd seen the name before. Okay,
No, I hadn't either. I mean, we'll have Dylan keeping an eye on. 'Em. We have Ken Schmidt as our on-call hydrologist. And
okay,
then we'll have construction support from Corollo Engineers. So
Thank
we
you.
will keep them honest.
thank you. Anything else? Anyone else? Oh, seeing or hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept general business item 6.4 as presented.
I'll make the motion to accept.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a support. All those in favor of general business 6.4 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So that concludes our general business items. Moving on to items of interest.
good afternoon, board. Did you guys miss
Good
me today? Andrew and I didn't have to put on the solid waste show today. But speaking of solid waste, the Prop 218 notices went out. I'm sure you all received them in your mail. I think I got mine on Saturday. So they were officially postmarked March 27th. So the hearing is scheduled for your regular meeting on May 15th. So it will be a public hearing. It'll be the first for this board. So Ray will probably meet with you in advance and kind of go over what the process is, just because it's.
I'm out of town that weekend.
Okay, Tony, you're it.
I'm already hearing it.
Yeah, so we do have that hearing scheduled for May 15th. And then I don't know if I'll steal Melanie's thunder, but your next board meeting, you will be presented with our mid-year budget. So you'll see where we stand mid-year. And then we are also bringing our proposed capital projects to you. So we do the CIP program every 2 years. We're looking 5 years out and we're programming projects for 5 years. But essentially it's re-reviewed by the board and council and staff every 2 years. So we'll be bringing you our proposed list of CIP projects at that meeting. So those are the 2 primary items on the agenda for the next meeting.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Melanie?
Since Tricia told you, I've got nothing to say.
Okay. Thank you.
She did it to me. I was going to tell you about the CIP process, so.
We're done. Okay. Renee? Brian? Blake? Welcome back, Tony. Glad to see you.
Good to be here.
Looks like you're doing well.
Yep.
All right. Anything?
Yeah, a couple things. If you may not have had a chance to listen to a couple of weeks ago to the city council strategic planning session, we had covered a lot of territory in 4 hours. Sort of started laying out the next 30 years. And remember, we've got about $1.5 billion in capital projects. The lion's share of that is water sewer distribution. 80% of that's covered by the development community. But it includes other big, large capital projects like the treatment plant expansion, looking at the possibility of building a corporation yard and new fire station and a number of other projects. In that presentation, just so you know, we have a consultant on board, a municipal financial advisor who started running some preliminary numbers for us. Based on their preliminary numbers, they're saying the water enterprise can support about $3 million a year in additional annual debt service, which equates to about $49 million in capacity for projects, and the sewer enterprise about $7 million annual for $120 million capacity. And so that's good news. Never good news that we have to borrow money, but the reality is when you have to build stuff required by law to do a treatment plant expansion, we got to make sure we have the dollars to be able to cover that. And so we're starting to tee that process up in the budget this year. Tricia submitted request for some funding so we can go out and hire a consultant to start really designing that, the sort of specifying that treatment plant expansion, which will then lead into, design documents and ultimately construction. Before those things go forward, though, here shortly, we will be looking at the next rate study for our water sewer rates. We'll be looking at impact fees and what do we need to do there. That impact fee discussion, while it may be tied to water sewer, it's part of the bigger impact fee discussion. We have 10 impact fees and we'll need to sit down and think about, what do we want to do with the impact fees going forward. And then, so you'll get a lot more information on that. That's just a little preview. Last thing, Thomas, would you come to the podium, please? So the city's recently hired a new assistant city manager. As you know, Josh retired, and Thomas Gaffrey is our new assistant city manager. Would you share a little bit about yourself?
Hi. I'm Thomas Gaffrey. I am the new assistant city manager. I was previously the interim city manager and assistant city manager of the city of Fowler. Before that, I was at the city of Fresno in a number of roles, including deputy city manager. And before that, I was at the CSU system at Cal State San Bernardino and Fresno State before that. So already hit the ground running and love the team we've got here.
Welcome. Yep, perfect. Megan, anything? Okay. Anyone else? Well, I'm not seeing or anything. I don't have anything myself. So at this point, we'll just call the meeting to adjourn. Thank you.